Hello HG. As you can see, I'm still celebrating that 4-0 Burnley win over City. What was that, Dan? We both know it would have been 4-0, so let's just say that was the score. What's that, Hamza? Still salty over that 2-0 United thrashing? Okay, now we've got that settled, let's talk about what we're going to do this lesson. Last week, you created the character profiles for your superhero, detective, and your supervillain. It's time to put those into action and plan an exciting detective story. Let's talk about how detective stories are structured. Let's think about the Sherlock Holmes story we read together, The Man with the Twisted Lip. If you need to refresh your memories with that story, there's a link to it on Classroom. For those reluctant readers, and I know there are a few of you, there is a YouTube link to a TV series version of the story. That story had an introduction in which Watson was visited at home by the wife of a patient called Isa Whitney, and he was called upon to rescue Isa from an opium den in Soho, London. Now remember, Isa was a drug addict. Now, what effect did this introductory bit of the story give to us as a reader? Well, it introduced Watson as a caring person, and more importantly, it led us to meet Sherlock Holmes at the opium den, and he was revealed to be a master of disguise when Watson bumped into him. He didn't initially recognise him. Actually, the reason Watson headed to the opium den was a red herring, a plot device to make Watson and Holmes bump into each other. It's at this point that we have the beginning of the rising action stage of the story, with the problem being introduced. This is the actual mystery that Holmes is to solve. Remember, in The Man with the Twisted Lip, we are told that the wealthy and successful businessman called Neville St. Clair has gone missing, last seen by his wife, waving and then jerking back in terror from the upper window above the opium den. Now, when his wife found a policeman to raid the opium den, they both rushed upstairs. They did not see Mr. St. Clair, but did find his belongings, some blood on the windowsill, and there was a deformed beggar in the room who was arrested. This is the mystery. Where is Mr. St. Clair? Was he murdered? If he was murdered, where is the body? This is now the development stage of the story. Holmes and Watson investigate. Holmes examines the clues, the evidence, negotiates the red herrings. Now remember, a red herring is a false clue that leads the detective and the reader into making false assumptions. The story ultimately reaches its climax, the most exciting moment. Holmes scrubs the face of the beggar in his prison cell, and it is revealed that the beggar is in fact the missing businessman Neville St. Clair in disguise, who has been posing as a beggar to make money after racking up huge debts. He'd been pretending to his wife that he was a successful businessman. Now, in your story, this climax could be an exciting action showdown between hero and villain. It could take many forms, but it's the most exciting moment of the story. After this, Holmes details his discoveries and how he came to his conclusions. Neville St. Clair was pretending to be a beggar, using makeup to make him appear deformed and a different person. We discover the genius of Holmes as he works it all out. This stage of the story is called the resolution, as all of the reader's questions are resolved. Now, this is your task for this lesson. On Classroom, I have set an assignment named Holmes Story Plan. You will see the 5 stages of the story: introduction, problem, development, climax, and resolution. I want you to try and be as creative as you can. Use your imagination and plan me an exciting plot for your detective story. Make sure you use enough detail so that I can really see what you're getting at. Now, good luck with that, HG, and I'll speak to you next lesson. Just one more thing though. Come on, Burnley. Come on, Burnley.